Welcome back to the 2023 Tire Rack One Lap of America presented by Grassroots Motorsport Magazine. I'm here with Brian Humphreys, Brad, and Hal. So why don't you guys tell us a little bit about yourselves and what your team name is and what car are you running this year?
Yeah, I'll start. So Brad Minton, we're also ran racing. We are driving a 2003 Mini Cooper that is heavily modified, but still way an underdog for this event. We've been racing. Well, he's been racing for a lot longer than me, probably double. But I've been racing since about I don't know '99 on my own. Everything from TSD rallies, Solo 2 autocross, track days, time trials, you name it, and a bunch of cars. Everything. Let's see, we've owned a couple Porsches, Z cars, Mustangs, and now we're in a Mini Cooper because it's economical, and I have children, so that's where you end up with, right, when you can no longer have the Porsches and you have kids, so you end up with a Mini Cooper.
Fair enough. Hal?
Well, I go back a little bit further. I did, the majority of my racing back when I was young, stupid, and had disposable income. Started out, I think I went to Bondurant's driving school in the 70s, back when Bob was one of the instructors there at Sears Point, and a lot of autocrossing, and got into Formula Ford and Super V's, and went to Skip Barber's advanced racing school in the 80s when Skip was an instructor there. And then, just had a lot of fun messing around with cars in general. It's been about a minute since I've been on track, almost except for autocrossing. So this will be something. I'm actually going to go the weekend before I fly back to One Lap and go over to Thunderhill and run the Carrera around, see if I can knock some of the rust off. But we don't really have any illusions of what we're going to accomplish here, except have a good time and enjoy the folks and enjoy the ride, and hopefully finish the event with a car in one piece. But you also ran racing, actually started in 2012 at the Grassroots Motorsports $2,000 challenge. We had a 280Z that we put together to do that event with, and it ran great at an autocross the weekend before, and then decided to have electrical problems when we were there. So I think we ran the slowest quarter-mile time of the event. I'm pretty sure of that. Yeah. But we've had a lot of fun just messing around with cars, and I infected Brad at an early age into a love of cars, and and even though we are lap pups, you should absolutely not count us out, because we are experienced cannonballers. So when he was 16, his first car was this POS Oldsmobile Omega that had more that didn't work than did work on it. I'm sure the instruments didn't, the gas gauge, one of the doors didn't, the transmission was foobar. Anyway, he decided he wanted to spend some time in the summer at the West Coast, so I flew back and we drove that turd nonstop across the country, which was quite an adventure. I think a couple 100 miles in, we discovered it had no coolant, and put that in, which just proves you can't kill that Iron Duke 4-cylinder engine. Anyway, it was an interesting adventure, but we've got experience with doing that. So
Brian, I think so far everybody we've spoken to leading up to this year is killing the mystique that we have, that we're all crazy scofflaws. People sound rational and reasonable. I don't know where we're going wrong, but it's fine.
I don't know Brian, what's reasonable about driving a race car for 4,000 miles. There's nothing reasonable about that.
Depends what your circle starts as. I mean, our bar is very low. So, Brian, why don't you go ahead?
Well, both of you guys mentioned prior racing with, Z cars, Formula Ford, Super V's, etc. over the years. For each of you, what is the favorite race car that you've tracked in your many years?
I'll go first because I think I have a lesser amount to think through. Honestly, I think the Mini Cooper is probably one of my favorites, which is really interesting because it's also the first front-wheel drive car I've ever tracked. I remember the first time I took it out on track, it was an autocross. I was just shaking down, getting used to it. and I went around a first hairpin corner and it oversteered and it caught me off guard. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? And that was an experience. The great thing about this car is it's the first car I've owned that it only has one purpose, right? Its job is to be fun. Its job is to be a project car. Its job is to go like hell. And that's it. Like every other car has always had to be a compromise. I've had to make it get me to work on Monday. So it's never been quite as fun. I've never been able to take it quite as far as I've taken this Mini. So that's probably where I'm at.
Nice.
Yeah, I think there's really no substitute for a formula car. I mean, they just, it's like a roller skate. I mean, they react, and had a couple of good ones. I had a Crosley 32 Formula Ford, which is a really straightforward, very predictable car. But probably my favorite would have to be the Argo JM2 Super V. That car was, I don't think you could do anything wrong in that car. Whatever you did, you could pull it out. It was just an extremely predictable, fun car to drive.
Which is surprising with, in both of those cars, little to no aero.
Little to no aero, that's for sure. I mean, the Argo had a sports car front end nose on it, which probably didn't do anything, and a wing that had so many struts and junk on it, it probably didn't do anything. But it looked good. So
Nice. So being Lap Pups, what are you most looking forward to with the event this year, and why? I mean, obviously a lot of people consider it a bucket list item, and we have a lot of Lap Pups this year particularly, but what was your main reason for wanting to come out and do it this year?
I'll have Brad kick that one off.
Yeah, it's been on my list for a long time. In fact, I was desperate to get in last year, and I never got off the wait list. I did come out and visit you guys when you came to Barber, which is my home track. So I came out there and hung out with you guys when you came through. I think one of the things that's interesting to me about One Lap is that was different than I expected. Right, when you're outside looking in, you see the competition aspect of it, and there's the winners, and this person won that class, but when you get there, I watched other teams drag welders across the paddock to go fix pieces on other people's cars, and it really became this event that is everyone against the event. Everyone gets to survive and have that camaraderie, and I think that's kind of the spirit we're going into it with, right? I'm going to go out there, I'm going to go like hell, I'm going to try and beat as many people as I can, but at the end of the day, I'm really just trying to beat the event. And I'm going to help anyone I can along the way and do what we can do. What I'm excited about, that's a great experience. I think it'll be a great 10 days. I'm also excited that I get to do it with my dad. Don't tell him I said that, but I think that's a cool experience too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a bucket list thing, and the event is just unlike anything else. The camaraderie that you see, even when you watch the videos and stuff from previous years and things, it just looks like an absolutely cool event. And of course, it has all the heritage. I mean, I grew up reading Brock Senior and all that. He kind of helped form my whole thought process around cars and things like that. So it's been something that's we wanted to do for a long time. And it'll be interesting. I mean, we're doing it in a 03 Mini Cooper with 120 some odd thousand miles on it that we originally bought for $1,800. So what could possibly go wrong? It should be fine. So, but no, it'll be a great time, and spending it with Brad is going to be awesome. So.
Nice. I'll tell you that the Mini, whereas yesterday we were speaking with the Sunday Cup crew, and talking about Brock's love affair with those cars, I can tell you he also has a love affair with Minis, and feel free to ask him just how long brakes work on a Mini.
I know how well brakes work on a Mini. Yeah, Brock and I talked a lot about that last year when I was getting into it. He was pretty excited to see a Mini on the list, and I just never got off the list, unfortunately.
Yeah, ask him about brakes at Pocono with somebody else's car who he was instructing.
I didn't hear that one. I did hear about the death of his last Mini.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, remind him of that one. Brian, what do you got?
Wow, remind him of that one. Yeah, that's going to go over real good. So with you guys using the Mini platform, and you mentioned that it's heavily modified, what steps have you taken to get it track ready, and what have you done to kind of beef it up and make it even more fun than the car already is out of the box.
And
Yeah.
reliable.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a 2003, so it's like the first S, right? It's like one of the first off the shop, which came out of the factory with a whopping 168 horsepower. So we should be setting top line speeds there. But we've done a lot, right? So it has. Let's just first of all, we've gone through the whole engine and it's clean. I say it's clean. It's actually not currently in the garage behind me because last weekend or the week before last, I threw a code and it lost compression on cylinder 3, so it's getting the head rebuilt right now, which is amazing. But we should be good for the event. But before that, it has a lightweight crank pulley, has a 15% reduction supercharger pulley, has all new hoses, all new gaskets, has an OS Geiken GT clutch, lightweight flywheel, has adjustable coilovers, adjustable control arms, adjustable sway bars, polyurethane bushings all the way through. It has the R56 upgraded calipers on the front, slotted rotors. It's currently running EBC brake pads, which are hot garbage. Those will be swapped out to G-locks right before the event so they get broken in. It has a Miltech exhaust. We've stripped the back out of it. It has a harness bar and roll bar into it. The front seat, the driver's seat has been replaced with a racing seat and 5-piece harness. We left the factory passenger seat complete with seat heater so that one of us can at least have some comfort on the travel. And then we've taken the factory wheels off, and it has, we went down a size. We went down to 15x8 wheels running 245 tires. So it's got pretty big contact patches for a car that weighs 2,700 pounds. So it's been all the way through. I think it's in as good a shape as I can get it, assuming that I can get a head put on it.
And what tires are you running this year?
We're going to run the Falcon RT 660s. They're about the best choice in the 245, 40, 15.
Okay. Excellent.
So-
So we've been
So
asking we've been asking, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, of course, what Colin Chapman said and why Lotuses don't have adjustable suspension is if you have adjustable suspension, people will adjust it wrong. So I'm sure we've done a lot of that. So we've certainly turned some wrenches. We'll see.
Colin was a great man. I've had 2 Lotuses now, and yeah, I'll leave his quotes were better than the cars at some point. Let's put it that way.
Yep.
So we've been asking all the one lap pup teams this. Obviously, going into your first event, you will have the ability for some hindsight when it's over. But if you go back and look at this in another 3 weeks after the event's done, 3.5 weeks, what would you tell yourself now? And let's see if that advice holds up at the end of the event.
Yeah, I think it's pretty easy. And my advice would be very simple. I'd just say, don't suck, right? In any capacity of the word, don't suck. Don't be a sucky person to be a co-driver with. Don't suck and overdrive on the tracks, right? Don't suck and underdrive on the tracks. Just don't suck, right? Go out there and do it right. I think that's the advice that I'd give myself. I may put that on a sticker on the car just so I don't forget it. But I think that's really, yeah, just right there. You don't need a speedometer. That's irrelevant. So just don't suck, I think would be the easiest advice.
All right. And Dad?
Well, that lets me out, I guess. So anyway, yeah, I think that's it. You just got to enjoy it. You can't take it too seriously. When you got the opportunity to do well, do it. But don't overdrive. Don't bend the car. Just enjoy the event.
Yeah, I think the best way to do well is to not get penalties, right? So don't get passed by Brock in the right-hand lane, things like that, right? Show up for all your events, be on time, bring donuts, those kind of things.
Right. Brian?
Well, you saying you in the Birmingham area, so Barber is your home track.
It is.
What track, if it's one that you've been on or have not been on yet, what track are you looking forward to being on most this year?
So I've only been on one of the tracks ever. So all of them are going to be new except for Road Atlanta. Now Road Atlanta though is like one of my all-time favorite tracks. So it's not going to hurt my feelings to go back there and run that one again. Aside from those, I think Eagles Canyon looks pretty interesting. It looks like a fun track. It looks like it'll do well for the mini. NCM is, when I look at that one's, I guess I never put a lot of thought into it. I read Corvette Museum and assumed it was like a box with 4 corners, right? And just so those Corvette guys could hammer down. Yeah, I'm taking shots now, right?
No, it's a bowl of spaghetti.
Yeah, but it is a very technical and very fast course. That one's going to take a lot of study and prep for. So I think Road Atlanta, I know and I love, and I'm going to enjoy driving the hell out of that one. I think Eagles Canyon and NCM are the other ones that I'm looking forward to trying to tackle the challenge of.
Nice. And now are you guys going to switch the track driving duties? How is that working?
My impression, and we'll see if we agree on this one, is because we haven't really talked about this, is that we since we're Lap Pups and we're not really going to be in the overall running for it unless like 40, 50, 60 some odd cars break. The reality is we should enjoy the trip, right? And so we should each take a turn, right? I don't know which one will go. And who knows, if we're at the last event and it's really close and one of us is distinctly faster on a track, maybe we swap out and let that person run. But for the most part, I think we each take a turn on every track. That's my opinion.
Your dad doesn't seem to be disagreeing with you, so.
No, that's it. We're there to have fun. We all both want to have the experience, and yeah, we're not in the running here. We're just going to have a good time at the event. And so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And like Brad, I haven't been on any of the tracks except for a parade lap around Road Atlanta, but Road Atlanta is certainly the marquee track that I'm really looking forward to doing it, though we can probably pack a lunch in the Mini for the back straight. So, it'll be fun. A lot of the tracks are fast and we definitely are horsepower challenged.
We'll have the other thing at Road Atlanta that my wife and my kids and I think my niece and nephew are going to come out and watch. So it'll be a family event there, and so it'll be a good time, I think.
That's awesome. So Brian, we got to make a note. We'll let them narrate him out on track when they're out there. So
Definitely. Yes.
No, that should be good.
Let the 6-year-old do it. You'll probably get a lot of cats meowing and growling, and who knows what else will come out of that one's mouth. So
worse than Brian. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So let's get down to the business side of things. Obviously, motorsport, as you had mentioned, can be an expensive thing. And we all get some help along the ways, in one way, shape, or form. So you guys have any sponsors and or charities that you'd like to give a shout out to now?
Yeah. So our first sponsor's been with us for 2 years. That's Redline Oil. I'm not like, a millionaire. I'm not getting huge dollars here, right? They're just helping us compete and continue to compete. But I really like Redline because I've actually run Redline Oil in all of my cars since I've been competing. And so that worked out, in a very good way. Like, I reached out to them like, hey, I'm going to be running this. Do you guys want to help us? And so they're helping us with fluids and all that stuff. So that's great. They're on it. And we just today just announced that we have Racebox as a sponsor too. So they're going to have a device in our car so that we can do telemetry, GPS tracking, kind of look at how we're doing point to point. So that's really exciting as well. So that's really all we have. Charity wise, I think we'll support Brock's charity. Supported him a little bit last year, so we'll support that charity again this year. But nothing personal unless Dad has something he's planning to put on the car I don't know about.
Nope. All good.
Excellent. Well, that's helpful. Brian, I'll leave you with the last question honors because yours are always really good.
And I'm at a point where I'm speechless now. I was listening so much to the sponsors that I lost myself.
All right. So why don't we finish off with this? Why don't you let all the audience out there and anybody watching this know one cool fact about either of you that we can look out for on the road or that people can come up to you and talk to you about?
One cool fact about us? I mean, you're typecasting me. It's only one little thing.
Well, yes. You're only allowed one thing.
Let's see. Well, pick one thing. Probably the most randomly unique thing about me is that in my just out of college days that I was on a radio show, a syndicated radio show across 7 states, and in the Southeast that people still know me by my radio nickname. And if you're in Gadsden, Alabama, you probably want to know if I'm healthy or not. I'll let people figure out who that might be. It'll be a fun topic.
I think I know.
Who is that?
Would it be Rick and Bubba?
That is correct. We have a winner right there. Winner. I was on there. I was the intern known as Lurch. I was also the assistant engineer for the station, but did that for like 7 or 5 years or something like that. Nearly died for that show. They're welcome.
It's amazing how much knowledge you have of completely useless things, Brian. That's
They
why
used to be simulcast on cable TV in the early 2000s,
Yep.
and I would watch it sometimes.
Turner Network. They were on Turner Network for a while. Yep.
Nice. It's always amazing.
The stupid things I know.
Yep. And Dad, what about you?
Oh yeah, I don't know. I've just been a gearhead since I could read, but owned like over 100 cars over the years of all manner of things, from Lotuses and Maseratis to this is my 13th Corvair, I think, because my very first Corvair or very first car was a 61 Corvair. But just always loved the Corvairs. They're such a goofy, unique part of American car history. So usually had one of those, but nothing really special. Done a lot of sailing. Been a couple of years checked out from the world, just sailing the Pacific coast, but I don't know. And I'm just about to have a lot more free time, about 2 months from retirement. So
Congratulations. And so you'll have even more time to chat with us, right after the event. But congratulations on that. Oh, that'll about wrap it up for us because we got to get moving. But, guys, thank you so much for joining us today and letting everybody know about you, your team, and getting to know you a little bit more. We enjoy doing these, so I hope everybody enjoys watching them and learning lots of things that you will never need to know again after in the next 3 weeks. So there will be no test on this, but I hope it was enjoyable. And guys, again, thank you for the time. So for the 2023 Tire Rack One Lap of America, presented by Grassroots Motorsport Magazine, which is on Hal's shirt, this is Solomon, Brian, Hal, and
Brad.
Lurch. I was gonna say Lurch, but yeah, okay.
Oh, look at you.
Oh,
there
it
you
will
go.
start already. Thank you all and have a great day.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.